Welcome to another episode of Ship Award. This is going to be a review of the Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway film Love and Other Drugs.
Shipper War. When ship happens, I'm there.
So I've been procrastinating in making this review. I watched the movie on Saturday, and Saturday night I was going to make a review, but then I didn't, and I was going to hold it off till Sunday. Then Sunday came, and I didn't do it, and now it's Monday, and I'm going to do it. I'm doing it right now. Okay, here's my thoughts on this film. The film was alright. It wasn't amazing, and it wasn't terrible at either. What I did like about the film is that it had three genres mixed into one, and it worked for the film. And those three genres was comedy, drama, and of course romance. And you got a sense of all these things in this film. The thing about the film that was strange was that the way it started off as a comedy, and basically the romantic aspect of what the film was did not come in at least till like 15 minutes or even more. It felt like more into the film because Anne Hathaway did not appear in the film until like at least 15 minutes into the film. If it wasn't 15 minutes, it felt that way because I'm like watching the film and I'm like, when is she going to appear? And then when she finally appears, my movie partner nudged to me and is like, look, she's finally there. Like, we both were thinking the same thing at the same time. Like, oh, there she is. I was wondering where she was, and she finally appears on our screen. Okay, so I guess she is in the movie. So that's a downfall I would say about the movie, that it took a while for Anne Hathaway to appear on screen. You kind of forgot what the movie was about in a way. So the movie is basically about a story about Jake Gyllenhaal's character Jamie, who's this college dropout. He works odd jobs. He can't keep a job, and his only real talent is basically getting into girls' pants. And then we have Anne Hathaway's character, who's a waitress, who's an artist, and she has a disease, which you then later find out what it is. But when Jake Gyllenhaal's character and Anne Hathaway's character meet, they basically just have a friends with benefit relationship, and that's all they want to have. But it turns out that Jake Gyllenhaal's character falls in love with Anne Hathaway's character, but Anne Hathaway's character doesn't want to be with Jake Gyllenhaal's character because of her disease that she has. So that's pretty much the whole story there, where they're fighting whether they want to be with each other or not. Jake Gyllenhaal's character fights with himself because he's thinking about the disease that Anne Hathaway has, and he's thinking, do I want to be with somebody who's going to have this problem for the rest of their life? Do I want to deal with that? So he has his own little dilemma with himself, whether he wants to be with her, but then he turns out that he does want to deal with it. He does wants to be with her. He is in love with her. But then there's Anne Hathaway's character who doesn't want him to deal with it. She wants to just live her life and just be alone and just not worry, dragging somebody else with her disease. So that's basically the big dilemma of the film. Another thing that I want to point out that the film had that I felt was so unnecessary, that did not need, was that there was a lot of nudity in the film. And mainly from Anne Hathaway's character. Nudity is good in a film if, it makes the scene more interesting, whatever. After like the fourth times, it felt like she was topless throughout the movie. Like every other scene, she was topless. It was like, really, does she really need to be topless in so many scenes? I just felt it was very unnecessary. It didn't add to the scene. Maybe because I'm a female, a straight female, so maybe I just didn't enjoy it. Maybe they put it out there just to get the male viewers to come and watch the movie. I'm not exactly sure, but I just felt the topless scenes with Anne Hathaway was just overdone, and it wasn't necessary for the film. As for the nudity coming from the male side, basically us females got Jake Gyllenhaal's butt a couple of times, which we've seen before. If you've seen Jarhead, pretty much the same, basically the same angles from Jarhead you see in this film. So overall, I don't know. I enjoyed the film. It had really funny parts. The story was alright. It's just some scenes were really boring, and then some scenes just felt very out of place and unnecessary. And I didn't feel too much of, I don't know, like Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway are great actors, but I just didn't feel much for them as a couple in this film. Like they weren't, they didn't. It's not, I can't say they didn't have chemistry because they did. It's just the way the story was told and just the relationship between the two characters, where I didn't feel like overly emotional for their reunion and their, them getting together. It was whatever. I wish I could say more positive things about the film because I was really looking forward to it, but it really didn't deliver as much as I was expecting. Maybe I had very high expectations for this film, and that's why I was disappointed. I'm not sure. So that is all for this episode of Ship War. Goodbye, and until next time.